What is the role of a trustee in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy case? Hi, I'm attorney Leroy Roberson, back to talk about this, and I made a previous video that talked about the role of the trustee in a Chapter 7 case, and now I'm going to talk about the role of the trustee in a Chapter 13 case. Some of the roles are going to be the same, but others are going to be different. For example, in a Chapter 7 case, remember, the trustee is looking for your assets so they can potentially sell to pay off your creditors. Well, remember, in a Chapter 13 case, you're not losing any assets. You're getting into a repayment plan to pay off all of your debts to a percentage. You know, it could be a 0% plan, it could be a 100% plan. So unsecured creditors could get nothing or pennies on the dollar, or they can get everything. And in order to get anything in a Chapter 13 case, the creditors need to file what's called a proof of claim. That's when they'll get paid out in a bankruptcy case. And so the trustee in this matter, they'll still review your paperwork like in a Chapter 7 case. You still go to a 341 meeting of creditors where the trustee will question you under oath as to your assets and everything that you have. And they'll also double check that, because you remember, you have to be able to prove that you can afford your planned payment in a Chapter 13 case. So just saying or putting on paper that you can afford it isn't going to be enough, because the trustee is going to look at what you say you can afford, plus they're going to look at all your supporting documents, your pay stubs, any contributing income that you may be getting, to make sure that you can afford this plan. And then when you make the payment, you're actually making the payments to the Chapter 13 trustee, who will take those payments and administer those payments to all of your creditors every month. So whether it's a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, you'll make your plan payment to the trustee every month, and the trustee will then take those payments and pay off your creditors whatever percentage that they're entitled to. And so that's a key difference between a Chapter 13 trustee and a Chapter 7 trustee. Another thing that a Chapter 13 trustee will do is they will make sure that your plan meets all the bankruptcy laws and that you meet all the requirements in order to be able to stay in your Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And one extra step in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy is, after the 341, you go to what's called a confirmation hearing. Now, this is in a courtroom, a judge is present, but that Chapter 13 trustee is present as well. And generally before the Chapter 13 confirmation hearing, the trustee will put out any objections that they may have to confirmation of your repayment plan that either you or your attorney will address before, or sometimes they'll continue this hearing in order for you to complete all of the trustee's objections that they have to your confirmation. And so the trustee will be there, and they will let the judge know any issues that they have with confirmation, or they'll consent to confirmation of your Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So the Chapter 13 trustee has a different and, to me, a lot more involvement in the case, and they have a lot of power to whether your case is going to get confirmed or not. Now, you can object if the trustee has issues with your case that you don't feel are relevant or you don't feel are correct. You can object and, go into court and argue it in front of a judge. But just remember, that Chapter 13 judge has a lot of power, and judges, go off their recommendations a lot. So you really want to work with the Chapter 13 trustee to make sure that you get your plan confirmed and you stay on top of everything, because that Chapter 13 trustee is paying attention and making sure that all your payments are correct and that you can afford your payments. So that's it, guys. That's kind of a good overview of what a Chapter 13's role, Chapter 13 trustee's role is in your bankruptcy case. So if there's any other questions you're going to have, as always, let me know and we can go into more detail and talk about this. But if not, have a great day, and I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Have a great day, guys.